Why hello there. So it occurred to me that my previous video on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the Atari 2600 may have given somewhat of an unfairly negative impression of Wizard video games. So I wanted to make another video on the other game that they put out, Halloween. Also, I wanted to talk about some stuff relating to these games that I left out of the first video because it wasn't like the most relevant stuff and was a little long-winded and unnecessary. So here's some unnecessary long-winded stuff. What I specifically wanted to discuss is why in 1983 a company would put out video games based on movies from 1974 and 1978 respectively for a console that was released in 1977. You see, the early 1980s was when the home video market really started to boom, and a big part of that was horror movies. So if you've ever wondered why horror fans are so obsessed with VHS tapes, that's why. You see, prior to this, if you wanted to see a movie, you had to watch it in a theater or on television. And there weren't a lot of options there. You could watch what was showing, when it was showing, and that was it. But with home video, you could watch kind of whatever, whenever, including movies that had been out of theaters for years and couldn't be shown on TV without heavy edits because they were a bit too spicy. Movies like The Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween, both of which arguably had more cultural relevance as home video releases than they did in theaters. And on a related note, do you know who released The Texas Chainsaw Massacre on VHS? Well, none other than Wizard Video. That's right, as in Wizard Video Games. These games were both put out by a company that primarily did home video releases. So they knew firsthand that these movies were as, if not more popular than current ones. Also, the licensing may have been a bit cheaper than for a current movie. So there you have it, an unnecessarily long explanation on why a company released video games based on 9 and 5-year-old movies. As to why they released them for the 2600 when there were already superior consoles available at the time, I don't know. I assume it was probably a money thing, but I don't have all the answers. But let's move on to Halloween. Oh, how silly of me. I almost forgot to do a dramatic reading of the back of the box.
Can you live through the night? He came home. The boogeyman will get you if you don't watch out. Pulse-pounding paranoia screams in your skull as you run for your life. Every step may be your last as you flee from the things that go bump in the night. Feverish with fear, cold sweat clings to your flesh. How real could an electronic nightmare be? Find out.
Halloween puts you in the role of a babysitter being terrorized by a mysterious killer. Presumably they licensed the title of the movie, but not actually any of the characters from the movie. So yeah, they're just referred to in the manual as babysitter and killer. You must run through the spacious yet unadorned house, picking up the children and taking them to the safety of the safe rooms at either end of the map, all while avoiding the man presumed to be Michael Myers. Doors in the safe room take you between floors, and other doors take you several rooms away on the same floor, but also serve as another access point for the killer. There's also a knife which you can pick up to fight back against the killer. It is very slow, has short range, and you cannot pick up a child while carrying it. Also, stabbing the killer gains you less than half as many points as saving a child, so in general, I do not recommend it. Saving 5 children or stabbing the killer twice takes you to the next level of play, where the killer's faster, but all point values are multiplied by the current level. And that's about it. Now I'm sure you're wondering, what about the violence? Well, don't you worry, this game has the violence. And there you have it. Halloween for the Atari 2600. An overall decent title relative to some of the others for that system, and even today it's fun to play for a little while. Not too long. A little while. And with that comes to a close the saga of Wizard video games. Or does it? Yeah, it does. That game never actually came out. Presumably because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Halloween didn't sell very well. Allegedly due to the fact that retailers either refused to stock them or kept them hidden behind the counter because they were such scandalous and violent video games. Yes, 1983 was a very different time. Also, it was the year of the video game crash, so that probably had something to do with it. So yes, this is indeed the end of the saga of Wizard video games. But not the beginning. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you should hit the like button and maybe check out my other videos, and if you like those, you should hit the subscribe button, and that'll be fun for everybody. Well, until next time.